Warm blessings. Master Shaman Palai Chi here. I just wanted to come out today to let you know that I've posted my Valentine's Day special. It's for the week of this week from the 11th of February to the 14th is the time of availability for booking your relationship reading. Now, for this special, I wanted to come out and say, I know it's very important to try to have a good communication throughout your relationship, to try to connect with that special someone that either you felt that you had the connection with all this time and you didn't connect with them, or to try to work things out within your relationship as well. That the one that you've maybe had for maybe a couple years, or 10 or 20 years, or 30 years, right? For some of you, I know that in in relationships, communication is going to be the most and important key that brings your connectedness together. Now, for some of you, if you're like me, when I met my spouse, we didn't even talk much during our times of communication. We sort of just sat there. And I'll just share a little story with you guys. When I met him, it was at the airport in California, a small town. We had met at the airport while he was waiting for his relatives. I was also waiting for my relatives to kind of go on board a plane. And so as we were waiting there, he told me this later, obviously, but he saw me come out of the car, and so instantly he said, "Oh, wow, that girl looks different than other ones, and I feel different about her." So he listened to his instincts. I actually didn't see him very clearly, and so when I saw him in person, this is like way after everybody leaves and then we go back to our cars. I was going back to the car, and then he actually yelled out and said, "Hey, what's your name?" And so I was like, "Oh, the parking lot, right? Who's in the parking lot?" I'm not sure who it is. I couldn't even see who it was. I didn't have my glasses on. So I went to my car with my parents. I was basically, 15, 16 then. I went to the car, and he came by and was like, "Oh, what's your name?" And so then we kind of conversated a little bit, and then from then on, it wasn't until 3 months later when he actually called me and said, "Oh, I was reminded of you." And then from then on, we kind of talked and then got together more. Um, the point is listening to your intuition in and when you're going through a relationship, that spirit energy medicine, and I call it that because it is actually the medicine that gives you this intuition. It's the starter or the root or the fuel that allows your intuition to run. So it's the spirit guidance and the energy that flows that allows you to let your relationship go a certain way. So in my previous video, we had talked about, and this was on Facebook Live today, on being thoughtful and being kind and having compassion. And what does all that have to do with self-improvement? And then also, what does that have to do with improving the relationship or situations in your relationship? And what I'm mostly talking about today is romantic relationship. So for some of you, you may have had disputes or some problems within even the last weekend, and you don't even want to face your relationship, or you don't even want to have a relationship right at this moment. And that might be the case. So then if that's the case and you have anger in your heart, then you need to release it by actually fighting with it, right? Fighting with it embracing. So how do we embrace? Number one, we embrace a harsh situation or an unforgiving situation, one that they have taken us for granted, right? We embrace that with kindness and compassion. We show this kindness and compassion in a way that states to them in a bigger way, in the big picture, that states, no matter what it is, I still feel the way I do because I'm listening to my instincts, because I'm listening to the first moment that I saw your face, that I felt this connection, right? If it wasn't the first moment or for love at first sight, it could have been love after you've communicated with this person for a while, and then you felt the love flow and you felt the attraction flow. And so for some of you, if you're in the mindset of I'm angry or I'm not really forgiving this person right now, and or this person has taken me for granted, then you need to come to terms with yourself trying to forgive them. But then some people are like, why, how do I forgive them? And I always find that the forgiveness comes from those thoughts that are from the very beginning of when you met the person. And if it was real, right? If it was real, if the person was real to you, as in their behavior, their attitude, their character, were they really real to you? And if they were, then that initial instinct was real. And so then you look back on the instinct that was real and say to yourself, well, how did I feel then? And you run on that instinct, the first instinct, and then those times that you had spent together where it was really good. Now, don't look at the bad times, but look at the good times, right? It was the very good times that had brought you and him to stick together. I find that for myself, if I take a look at all the good times and how great they were, then I usually will find myself to be more forgiving and to allow this forgiveness to flow out to him again. So if this person, your significant other, was taking you for granted, was there something there that you would question? Because I know that most of you are not happy right now. Then is there something there that, when I'm saying it, I'll clarify this. Most of you may not be happy right now without this person. Now, some of you may say, well, I'm happier without the person, and that's fine. So that means that you maybe didn't feel that, right? But if you felt the instinct of, oh, my heart beats for this person and I care for this person a ton, then you're going to know what I'm talking about, right? You're going to know that I'm talking about this inner instinct, this inner feeling, this inner care, this inner attraction that you have towards this person. And if you have this inner attraction towards this person, no matter how bad the situation gets, you're always going to ponder and think back to the good times that you had together, the good conversations, the good communications, the good gestures that you guys had together, right? The intimacy that you had together. How great was that, right? So you think about all these things in your life. And you think about how they changed you and made you a better person or not, right? But usually it makes you a better person, even if it was the worst case scenario. You still learned something and you still learned to somewhat improve yourself from that situation. So my point is, when you have a relationship that you felt really strong in and felt really that you wanted to hold on to, but you probably didn't, and you just did it, spontaneously, you guys both, let each other go. And so now you have a ton of questions on, should I stay? Should I get back together? What should I do? Then you want to take me up on that reading for this Valentine's Day. The Valentine's week, I call it, from the 11th today till the 14th. I'm offering that Valentine's special. So take me up on that offer and see what's coming up for you. And actually, right now, I'm going to pull a card because I'm just feeling it. Spirit energy led, right? I'm going to pull a card with my goddess tarot here. Just for some of you that I feel that you guys are like, I don't know. And some of you know that you need a reading. You need to know what's going on, what's coming up, and that what should you do, right? What should you do? So I'm going to pull a card in all fairness today and see what comes, all right? So here. Wow. This is the card, and it's probably backwards on your screen. I'm not sure. But I'll read this to you. It says Bridget. Bridget gives us the message today as I'm pulling this card. As I pull this card and I talk about spirit and energy led, right? And as I talk about spirit energy led, Bridget has said here, as I pull this, don't back down. Don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right. So some of you may be in denial because you're saying, oh, I feel so much better without him. I'm fine. I'm independent. Now, to love a person and to want him to be with you doesn't mean you're not independent, right? Independent is something more of individualistic and more individual to you. But to have a partner, to love someone and to feel that love deep inside, and you know it's there, but maybe it was through, whatever, some mishap, that it was just a spontaneous of the time or the moment, spur of the moment type of thing, that you felt this anger because of what he said, because of his actions, because of not being responsible, because of what she said, whatever it may be. Stand up for what you believe is right. And sometimes for what you believe is right may not be just in that time or just in that situation. What you believe is right might be, I believe I am supposed to be with that person. And that's a bigger picture, not just the details that's in the situation that you just had, or these little sequences of situations that you had with each other. There's probably something missing in him, in you, that was not improved, and therefore you didn't stand up for what you thought was right. Because sometimes what you thought is right, or what you think is right, might take for you to back down on your ego. And I'll say that because I've been through situations like that. I've been in relationships like that. So I tend to will be like, oh gosh, why is this happening to me? Why is this really not good? Is it me? Is it him? What is it? Is it the people around us that's influenced us somewhat? So then you try to find a solution to trying to either stay together, right? For most of you, you want to stay together because you know how it is when you meet somebody and you feel like they're the one or they are your better half, and then now you're without them. It's just a whole different story. And to find another person is going to take still the same energy, the same guidance to go through with that next person. A little less or more, right? Less or more. But then do you feel the same is the question. Do you feel intuitively, your gut feeling, is it still there, that you feel the intimacy between you and this next person? Will you? Or if you are with them, have you? Okay? So Bridget tells us, don't back down. For some of you that are out there and you know what's right, you know that you found that person, stand up for what you believe is right. Because I believe that if you felt that with that person, there is definitely something there, whether it was in a past lifetime or whether it was in this lifetime. So connect with me, Master Shaman Palai Chi, and get yourself together on your thoughts and your clarity, because you don't want to miss that boat. If you're feeling down right now because you're not with that person, you don't want to miss that boat. And I'm sure that person is feeling the same thing too if they are facing the truth. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I will see you guys again on the next video. Warm blessings from Master Shaman Palai Chi. Bye-bye.